Hey, what's up, guys? How's it going? It's me, Dakota Fishman, and today I got another tip for you. And this is something that, I don't know, I feel like a lot of people probably, yeah, you either noticed it or you didn't. But, so every time you do a behemoth raid, right? So, like, you'll notice that these acolytes spawn. If you don't know what an acolyte is, they're basically these little dudes. Okay? But the acolytes, they're useful in that they actually spawn mana stones. And these mana stones typically last for about 8 hours. But one of the things I should probably point out here is that you want to look for the mana stones relevant to whatever you're trying to do. But like if you're training troops, for example, you're doing research, there's a lot of different mana stones that you can come by that can save you a stupid amount of time. So yeah, I just thought I'd mention that because some people completely blow these off, don't even think anything about them when doing research, upgrades, and so on. But it's a time saver. Like if you want to get extra buffs, that's the way to go about doing it. Something else I thought I'd bring up is, okay, so you might have known about the behemoth raid that you've got with the giant, and then you've got the bear, and then a lot of people are now looking towards getting to the Thunder Roc. Now, I just wanted to point out that Thunder Roc is a little different, and really about the only thing noticeably different about the Thunder Roc is the fact that he does electric blasts. He does, a couple of blasts. The main thing is you have to kite around where his red blasts are showing up. And then if any of the corresponding users have a circle around them, that effectively means that they're going to shock and kill everything around them. You got to kind of isolate them, at least in the elite raid. But the main thing here is that you're basically waiting to kite around wherever he's shooting his orbs. And then after he shoots his orbs, he'll come back down to the ground. And then you go DPS Mayhem Heavy on his ass until he flies back up in the air, and then you just rinse repeat. And that's all you gotta do for Thunder Roc. But beyond that, I mean, like any of the other events, that's just something that I picked up from what I've seen so far, so I just thought I'd bring it up. Because a lot of people I could see didn't notice the AoE that is around them, so you could easily kill a group of people. And you definitely need to be coordinated in this particular version of the behemoth, because if you're not, you wind up getting quad killed really quickly. Like if you're standing in the water, get shocked, well, yeah, guess what? You're foobar. Like you're gonna kill a bunch of your own team. That way, you don't want to do that. Beyond that, though, something else too that, of course, as you get higher and higher and higher, you'll eventually get higher level Darkling forts. And I don't know, I kind of thought it was interesting that, it tells you that you need approximately 30,000 level 1 units. And I can't help but notice that, like, more often than not, if you're not contributing the most in those, you're not going to get the most rewards. Just kind of lame, but it's winners keepers type game. You got to make sure you're doing your job, getting your loots. It's just kind of the way this thing goes. And of course, I'm still doing my fine job of searching like crazy. I don't want to really search over there though. I want to search over here if I can. Okay, here we go. That's all I've been doing, is scouting like a goddamn madman, so that I could get as much territory covered as possible. And so far, it's been going well. Now, there are a couple of notable things to bring up, which, again, from previous videos, I've brought this up before, but if you ever wanted to see where all the monuments were on the map, literally you gotta do is just find a monument, click on check once you've gotten to it, click on that at the top, and literally just scroll out. Now you know the percentage of territory you've covered, and you also have a really easy way to determine where the heck you are in relation to the map, and where to scout in which direction, as far as like what items to grab and so forth. I thought it was kind of interesting that some of the names, though, are kind of, I don't know, it's like River Run or Storm Peak, it's like, oh, these sound kind of familiar. There's Black Crow Gorge, Whisperwood, Echo Valley, the Red Marsh, the Frozen Spires, Lake Reverie. It's just kind of a lot of like click and choose type locations as far as the game is concerned. I'm still kind of curious what's going to be in these gray areas here. We don't really know yet. Now, of course, you see with this little red icon, yeah, you can get gems here. So if you haven't already, then you'll easily work your way to getting some free gems out of this while you're at it, which is kind of nice. As you might imagine, I've got quite a bit of these, so I've got to go through here and click on the button, get all my free loot, because there's like no shortage of it in a game like this. But go figure. The other thing too is I'm working on actually getting my celestial flying units upgraded. I'm actually trying to make more of them as I'm working through it. And really part of the reason why is because celestials are really good for magic DPS. So I'm kind of trying to get them upgraded, and that way I've got ranged flying units. Now, the interesting thing is, obviously they're not marksmen, so they're magic units, and they're flying, which I think is kind of a plus, right? And then you get all the buffs that come along with the Celestials, which that in and of itself for the League of Order is a really nice perk of being League of Order. But you've also got the opportunity to play different flying units, depending on what it is you're doing at the time. You might have noticed that I actually just recently hit VIP 8. And if you didn't, I'll go ahead and show you. So I hit VIP 8. Now, by hitting VIP 8, I'm now available to do 2 researches at a time. I'm kind of going through research a little bit faster than I was before. And the other thing is you might have also noticed that I pretty much gutted through all of these, almost all the way. And then went through and did a lot of these and then got barricades. And then I just kind of called it quits once I got there because I want to go ahead and finish these out real quick. But the policies are a big plus. I think a lot of people they trash the Dragon Trail. They don't really pay any attention to this. But even getting 1 stars and just running through this thing is really not necessarily a bad idea because of all the experience and the amount of Dragon Glass and prestige that you're earning. Like, it's kind of stupid not to, because you're getting that all on a per hour basis, and literally it's like, here I'm at like 50, but you can get all the way down to 80, and I would assume that, if the faster you get down there, the better. So I'm just kind of going down there like, it's like Donkey Kong, man. Trying to get down there as quick as I can. Now, the store, does have the Indus tokens, so if you've always wondered how to get Indus, that's where I've been getting Indus. Now, I have a feeling that's probably not universally the same, I have a feeling, but I just thought I'd mention that. Aside from that, though, as far as the Dragon Trail is concerned, I really see a lot of people kind of neglect that. Now, as far as, heroes and stuff like that, again, I'm working on Dylan and Walder at the moment. I got him at 43, this guy at 37. Not far behind, I got Thea, I got Guanwin, and then I've got Emery's. And I think these are all good heroes as far as I can tell. Like, Ileana's good. Now, I've kind of skimped out on Lilia because I'm just not interested in Lilia since I've already got some magic heroes. And, it's like I could get Nico, I could get Craig, I could even get Nika started, and it's like, if I do that, it's really primarily, for me anyway, getting Nika upgraded, it's really only reasonable to me because it's an inf hero. So then if I ever got Madeline, I would pair Madeline up with Nika, because there's plenty of inf bonuses in here that I think are pretty beneficial overall. Like, that doesn't seem like a bad thing. Obviously, oh gosh, where do you even begin? It's like, as far as the artifacts are concerned, you guys have probably heard about the Eternal Heart, which, if you don't know what that is, I actually happen to have it, and so I can kind of go into detail with that. So the Eternal Heart, or the Infernal Flame, the Eternal Heart, the Infernal Flame. Yeah, whatever. It's this thing, right? Okay, it's got a high rage cost to it, but it's giving you a damage factor of 1100 with a 15% attack on keen. this is not bad. Like, this is good. I've actually found it to be really nice in tandem with Thea, just because Thea is flying, and so I was like, okay, I'll just pair these two together, and naturally this is just going to work really well once I get them all the way upgraded. Now, I am not far behind to getting a 3rd star on this already, so I'm really trying to get that where I need it to be. But I've already got the Karatas Wrath at 4 with the level 30, and I can already tell you the Karatas Wrath is really, really useful with upgrading like a set of, like, for example, like I can have 4 or 5 legions, but I can actually have up to 10 legions pop this buff, and they basically get a 20% damage dealt to darklings and dark creatures, which is really, really nice. I mean, it's one of those things that I mean, as far as starting players go, I really kind of found that to be a really helpful tool. Now, it's not going to be useful when you go into PvP. So it's one of those things that it's like, I kind of focus down the peacekeepers, because peacekeeping in the early stages makes a lot of sense, because basically all you gotta do is tack on a peacekeeper, work them all the way up. So, you know, heroes like Eliana, for example, or Huawin, and you work them all the way up so that you get all those bonuses to peacekeeping damage on them, and then you just throw the heroes that you are planning on working on as their, you know, kind of their deputies on the side once you hit level 20. Like, you can just basically carry backpack like that, and then while you're AFKing like I am, you basically turn around, put your heroes out in the field where you know you got some nodes, and then you just go have them gather. You know, and obviously, you know, while you're gaining experience on top of that, you're also working on getting yourself the resources you need to be able to do your upgrades the following day. You know, that's kind of a no-brainer. Now, I would say that I'm kind of struggling with some of the chapters already. I'm at the point where, like, you know, I need to do a couple of more dark chests and stuff, but naturally, I've already burned almost all my CP, and I generally recommend almost everybody that's trying to min-max this game, especially free-to-plays, that you're pretty much burning your CP as much as you possibly can on upgrading your heroes, and that therefore means most of the time you're either going to be upgrading them doing Darkling hits, or you're going to be doing fort hits, or you're going to be going out and doing chests and getting chests, which I think getting the chests is a pretty logical thing to do. I mean, that's going to get you some arcane dust, as well as, you know, the occasional loot. And the Amulet of Glory is in here, which, you know, is kind of an interesting one. Same thing with Ancient Tree Roots. And that's just on elite chests. I kind of question how superior and higher tier chests are like as far as the loot tables go. I have a feeling they're probably better, but also a little different. Like, the loot tables there are probably different. I don't know what those loot tables are off the top for this video, but I would assume the higher tier loot chests are going to give you access to better loot, and therefore it's kind of a no-brainer to go ahead and just, if you're going to waste the time hitting chests, you definitely don't want to be that guy going around and hitting these basically yellow tier dark common chests. Like, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to do common chests for this reason. That's why a lot of people will focus down on the superior chests for that reason. But beyond that, though, that's pretty much all the tips and advice that I've found out so far. I just thought I'd go ahead and share it, and hopefully it'll help you guys out. If you find Call of Dragons interesting and you like these kind of tips, feel free to subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.